Right, we're back live with you tonight here on In Focus. Let's turn to this now. 58 children in the Western Cape have been killed in gun-related incidents between the 1st of January and the 12th of June. This is according to the province's health department. The department says a total of 333 children were treated for gun-related injuries during that time. For more on that story, I'm joined now by Abie, Chairperson of the Cape Flats Safety Forum. Abie, good evening and thank you for coming on this evening. Are these shootings targeted at the children, or are the children caught in the crossfire? What is happening here?
I think first and foremost, as the Cape Flats Safety Forum, we are definitely concerned in terms of the stats that the Department of Health have released, specifically when it comes to children. In terms of the question, yes, most of these incidents where children are caught in crossfire specifically, those are most of these incidents that have happened in and around the Western Cape, specifically references to the Cape Flats.
What is happening at the Cape Flats? What's happening in those facilities that is bringing up these kind of shocking statistics?
First and foremost, we need to acknowledge that there's been what some people call aging gang war that's been prevalent in and around the Cape Flats, where there's constantly, even early on, going through some of these chat groups, where I've picked up that random shooting. So we've been advocating as the Cape Flats Safety Forum, and we hope that the 7th administration that have taken office would, one, deal with the issue around probing the gun violence. You know, there needs to be a special probe set up to deal with the gun violence in and around the Cape Flats. We've also, for the past couple of months or the year, I've been asking that there is a specific directorate that's been set up, directorate department, which is called the Western Cape Children's Commissioner. We've not been seeing that this particular department, I think it's a Chapter 9 institution, if one is not mistaken, have played a pivotal role in terms of addressing the safety of our children. So those are some of these concerns that we have. And again, as I say, we hope that the 7th administration will look decisively into this and come up with contingency plans, also in the same vein, looking at a probe, setting up a probe to deal with gun violence.
So the MEC would say there are shoots of improvement, especially with the LEAP officers that have been put in place in areas like Khayelitsha, especially in Nyanga. Are you seeing those kinds of interventions? Are the LEAP officers visible? Are they doing what they're supposed to be doing? Are they cooperating with you as the Community Safety Forum?
I think first and foremost, we need to acknowledge that there are quite a number of interventions that's being done, but not enough. We've consistently been saying there seems to be no political will to deal with what we call urban terror. And we hope that now that there's a 7th administration, and one would refer, and not being a politician, but just an ordinary community member, because we've always been hearing that the city or the province was saying it's a national competency, SAPS is a national competency. We're hoping that through this government of national unity, we would stop now this notion of playing the ball game. It's a national issue, it's a SAPS issue, and those type of things. Let's deal with the core issues. Our children are dying. Let's look at child safety as a priority. We are looking at that at the backdrop. In this month, we've just celebrated the first week in this month, Child Safety Week. And yet, 2 weeks later, we get the shocking stats. Clearly for us, it's a concern as the Cape Flats Safety Forum. We believe more needs to be done. There needs to be an integrated approach to deal with what we call urban terror on the Cape Flats. And there needs to be a multifaceted approach between all spheres of government, broader society, civil society, church, faith-based organizations, NGOs, CBOs, so that we can start dealing with some of these issues that are prevalent in and around the Cape Flats.
Yeah, the MEC says it's not only going to be solved by policing. You know, it's not just a policing issue, but there's a social aspect to it. What are the communities saying? How can they intervene?
I think, yes, one sometimes need to agree with some people, and specifically, we need to start looking at the social issues in our society. Unemployment is rife. You know, We look at the density of people, you know, and in some areas, you have 7 families staying in a household of 3, in a 3-bedroom house. You know, those are some of the social conditions that are contributing factors towards crime. So in that perspective, yes, we're also noting the fact and swiftly want to move. We're in school holidays now for the next few days. And children needs to become our priority. We've always been saying and we've always been advocating as the Cape Flat Safety Forum, your child is my child in terms of safety and security. And it's our responsibility. If we start seeing that our children are wandering away, we need to take that responsibility up. We've also, what we've picked up today from our side as the Chairperson, as the Cape Flat Safety Forum, you know, we've seen that today almost 4 children, almost 5 to 10 children reported missing. Yes, they were reunited, but that's also another area of concern. So again, we are asking the Western Cape Child's Commissioner, please liaise with formations such as the Cape Flat Safety Forum, such as other safety formations, so that we can start dealing with the issues pertaining to the negative effect in terms of our children.
So the structure, for example, like the Western Cape Provincial Community Policing Board, how well is it working with organizations like yourself and others within the communities to be able to deal with this issue and stop the crime?
I think in terms of community policing, that's one I've always been of the view and consistently saying that the community policing forum being totally shifted the mindset, and one, when we say that they have become more police orientated. Let's call it the facts by facts. They are more policing instead of dealing with the communities. Instead of what we call community policing forums, it's now become police community forums. And we need to go back to basics in terms of playing that fundamental role, the community policing forums. Work with civil society, work with NGOs, work with the broad spheres of government, in particular the 3 spheres of government that exist, so that we can be able to look at how best we can resolve some of these issues. Because clearly, we, you know, if you look at some of the stats currently, you know, the urban terror is worse than the current war that's happening within certain areas, certain parts of our world, where people are literally dying daily, constantly daily, in and around the Cape Flats, Western Cape specific.
One of the things you mentioned earlier, the Government of National Unity, one of the things that the Patriotic Alliance, for example, is asking for is the Ministry of Police. Do you have confidence in a leadership of a man like Gayton McKenzie, that he could be able to strike that balance and that gap in being able to bring the community and still be able to deal with the crime?
As the Cape Flat Safety Forum, we're not going to look at specific persons. I hear your question, but we firmly believe that there needs to be a person that would be hands-on, that would be able to deal with the current situation. We have, from our side, as a Cape Flat Safety Forum, have a little reservations in terms of the said person that you just alluded to in terms of being the Minister of Policing. We have our reservations, yes, around it. But we firmly believe that there needs to be the political will to deal with urban terror, deal with the gun shootings that's happening. And we firmly believe, and as I said with my opening remarks, there needs to be a special probe set up. And I hope that, and I think one of the leaders that's from Mitchell's Plain, Fadil Adams, that's from the National Colored Congress, in terms of his opening remarks, he reminded the President of the Republic of South Africa, there's an area called Mitchell's Plain, there's an area called the Cape Flats that you need to start investing in as the NGO, GNU, the Government of National Unity.
Abie Isaacs, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on. That's the Chairperson of the Cape Flats Safety Forum there, Abie Isaacs.